So when we have pain, disappointment, restlessness, even lust, have a look at how you relate to that. Look to see if you're creating skillful attitudes towards these things, so these old stuff disappears very quickly. Or are you regarding it in an unwholesome way? You see, that unwholesome way we regard things is called craving. It's called like the fuel, the upadana, which keeps these things going and going. It's a bad karma, the bad mental karma, or sometimes it goes off into bad speech and bad actions. You're creating more problems for yourself and for the world. And those problems come up in a lack of happiness. It's beautiful to see, just with this insight into what the problem really is, where it is. It's not in the object. You'll never find the best monastery, you'll never find the best teacher, you'll never find the best monastery, you'll never even find the best nimitta if you're always looking for it. This thing you've got now, how do you regard this? If you regard this as beautiful, the nimitta just appears out of nowhere. It's just like that simile of the lotus with 1,000 petals. You don't have to go anywhere to open up that lotus. You just have to stay put. Whatever you're experiencing, just be at peace with it. The way you regard this, to regard this with a sense of giving, not expecting anything in return, liberality, love, acceptance. This is good enough. Contentment. When you're watching a leaf of a lotus, if this is good enough, you're regarding it in a pure way. It doesn't matter how dirty and grubby that lotus leaf is. No matter even how sort of painful and hard to bear it is. If you keep your mindfulness on it, with acceptance, with purity, this beautiful mindfulness, that grubby, even detestable lotus leaf will open out. It will open up, and underneath that dirty old lotus leaf will be the pure leaf, or the pure sort of petal rather. And if you get excited at that pure petal, everything closes up again. So the way you regard even the pure petals should be exactly the same way as you regard the really unpleasant petals, if you really want to get progress in meditation and in life. It's how you regard the things, how you look at them. To look at them without craving, without this unwholesome karma, without wanting to control it, just leaving things alone. When you start to do this, the lotus opens up petal by petal, and you don't have to do anything except just watch. Be still and make sure that the way you watch is pure and wholesome and stable and not sort of shaken by hindrances or defilements or by bad karmic methods. And when you do this, it's incredible just how quickly the whole thing can happen. Just the whole lotus can turn from this grubby little old thing which you think has got no promise at all into the beautiful inner petals of a lotus. So refined. You can be in pain. You can have fever. You can be tired. You can be, the objects you've got to work with seem like real rubbish. But it's how you work with them. And it's that attitude, that relationship with your task, with the object you have to deal with. If that is correct, then everything just goes so smoothly and so well. And so you start to learn in the way of meditation, not just how to gain the jhanas. You start to learn because you use this path into peace, into serenity, just as an example about how to deal with life. Whatever you have to deal with, the people around you, so the body you're in, the weather, the requisites, how are you dealing with all of this? Are you dealing with, in the sense, I'm just going to give for the sake of giving, don't expecting anything? When I give a talk, I just expect to give a talk, don't expect people to like it or not like it. I don't expect people to cheer or to boo. I don't expect anything. Just give for the sake of giving. Content, no matter how well you perform. Doesn't matter if it's a good talk or a bad talk, because I give it my best shot every time. Sometimes the causes aren't there, so I don't worry about the object, my experience of teaching. You regard that with peace, with contentment. In that way, you are still with the world. You're not making bad karma with the objects of the mind, with the duties, with the situation you find yourself with. In that way, that all those problems just vanish. And you actually start to see what this is. And we don't need to have the perfect situation. If we needed to have the perfect situation and become enlightened, the Devas would become enlightened. The reasons why the Devas cannot become enlightened or find it so difficult to become enlightened, because the experiences, the objects of their consciousness are just so lovely. It's hard for them to regard those objects with peace. They regard those objects with indulgence, sometimes even with conceit. Look at me, just how great I am, just how powerful, how much fun, how much energy, how much beauty, how much happiness I have. So easy to do that, to regard one's Deva realms in the wrong, unskillful way. One has got to those Deva realms because of beautiful good karma, and now the way one regards that vipaka is unwholesome. And it's going to mean that you're going to fall from those realms. You're going to destroy your happiness, your power, your peace. That's why the Deva realms fall apart, or rather Devas fall from those realms. And if you're using the lower realms, the realms of the animals based on fear, the lower realms of them, the hell realms based on pain, how do you regard that pain? If one was in a hell realm experiencing excruciating pain, and one said to that pain, the door of my heart's open to you, come in. You regarded that pain in a skillful way. That being would end their time in hell and would disappear and go up into another realm. So where they regard what they're experiencing keeps that hell burning. It's not what they're experiencing, but how they regard it. So we call that craving, desire, karma chanda, ill will. That's what burns. And when you've got such strong ill will or such strong craving, the flames are just so hot, one is roasting. And it can be ended so easily, just with a change of mind, a change of way of looking, a change of regarding this thing which we call samsara, or the five khandhas. And one sees that this is the way out of pain and suffering in the moment, in life, in a monastery or in the household. And it's also the way out of samsara, the way out. In other words, the way to nibbana. When we cultivate the proper attitudes, samma sankappa, second factor of the Eightfold Path. It's not what we're experiencing, but how we regard that. We regard that with nekama sankappa, renouncing, giving up. Don't care what we're experiencing. We just give up controlling, give up wanting, give up all the unwholesome ways of dealing with this, whatever this happens to be. This could be the most pleasant moment. Be careful to regard it properly. It may be the most unpleasant experience you've ever had to bear with. Regard it properly. Always remember samma sankappa. First of all, nekama sankappa. And the second one is, and I've got to remember myself, reminding that it's not with vyapada. I'm going here for the micca sankappa. Vyapada is like with ill will. And the last one with vihingsaka, which means like with almost like violence, wanting to destroy things. No matter what you're experiencing, if you want to try and destroy it, if you have anger towards it, then you're creating the causes. You're for more pain, for more suffering. But if you have the Samma Sankappa, which is with nekama, with just renunciation, with metta or karuna? I think metta first and then karuna. The metta is just the freeing, the door of my heart's open to you. And the karuna is seeing that suffering and just having the proper attitude towards it. Because some of life is suffering, some of it is hard to bear. But it's how we deal with that. If we deal with that with Samma Sankappa and we have this compassion towards it, then we're creating the good karma for these things, for these things to disappear. This present moment, this present vipaka, the thing we have to deal with, we understand it's not the problem. It's how we regard it.